Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 7th Annual Immigrant Youth Empowerment Conference, Staying Grounded and Moving Forward with Our Families. We would like to thank everyone for coming out here. We're really excited to have you all here and hope that you all get to benefit from all the wonderful workshops that are here today. So our theme for this year is staying grounded and moving forward with our families. So as undocumented students, we cannot forget that our parents are still undocumented as well. All our friends can be undocumented, so we need to remember that we need to include everyone in this movement, not just students, but our allies, our parents, so that everyone can, so that everyone can take advantage of all the opportunities that are available in this country.
Okay, so good morning, you all. How's everyone feeling? That's good. I didn't quite hear that. Let's do that again. How's everyone feeling? Okay, how about a third time? How's everyone feeling? Come on, energy, folks in the back. Okay, great. Well, again, thank you all for coming out. As you can tell, unfortunately, Aloy Black canceled on us due to like a last-minute schedule change, but he was able to video in this morning. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. A terrible one. Okay. Okay. So I would just like to say on behalf of us, the AB 540 Project, Ideas at UCLA, that it is so moving to see so many of you out here this morning. As undocumented students ourselves who put in so much of our own volunteer time to organize this conference every year, and 7 years going strong, it's amazing to see this kind of turnout from the community, and we hope to be able to continue giving back and to helping you all stay informed. Okay, so with that being said, I would like to introduce the 6 amazing people that helped organize this conference today. Well, 5 amazing people and me. Good morning, you all. My name is Vlad Stoichescu-Gica. I am a 3rd-year political science student at UCLA, and I'm the administrative project director for the AB 540 project.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanna Ascension. I'm a 3rd-year biology student and Spanish student. I'm in mentoring component project director.
Hi everyone, my name is Miriam Gonzalez. I am a 3rd-year bio student, and I am the workshop component.
Hello everyone, my name is Larissa. I'm sorry, I'm really short. I don't have high heels. My name is Larissa Martinez. I am a 2nd year here at UCLA. I am an anthropology student as well as an American Indian Studies student, and I am the mentoring project director.
Good morning everyone, my name is Monica Rangel. I am a 2nd-year political science student, and I am a workshop project director.
Hi everyone, my name is Blanca Villagomez, and I'm a 3rd-year sociology major student, minoring in education, and I am the project director for the community college component. Now we'd like to thank you. We want to transition into our opening speaker, and it's an honor to have her here today, Bishop Minerva Calcaño. As a daughter of immigrants, Bishop Calcaño views the issues and challenges of immigration reform through the lens of her personal history, as well as with the compassion of a person of faith. In 2013, Bishop Calcaño was one of the 14 religious leaders who was invited to the White House by President Obama to consult with him about immigration reform. So can we have a round of applause for Bishop Calcaño, please?
Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's wonderful to be here. It's a great honor and a great privilege. I do have some words to share, but perhaps you've also heard early this morning about the shooting at UC Santa Barbara and the fact that 7 have died, including the shooter. And so I want to just invite us to a moment of silence, that we might hold up those families and that community as they've dealt with this crisis. So let us be in a moment of silence. For those students who have suffered violence and even death, we pray for your mercy. For the person who came forth in that violent act, we pray for mercy for him as well. And we pray for your care for those families that are affected, for that community, and for all of us. Be merciful, O God. Amen. Good morning. What a joy it is to be with all of you, to see 1,200, 1,400 of you, my heroes. Truly, you are my heroes, and so it's wonderful to come and be with you on this morning. I've been working on immigration reform with many other leaders, religious leaders and community leaders, but I want to say to you that no one has been able to do the kind of good work that you have done. And you need to give yourselves a hand for that. Won't you give yourselves a hand? As has been mentioned, a year ago I had the opportunity about this time to visit with President Obama with 13 other religious leaders. We sat in the Roosevelt Room in a circle with him. We were all in awe. My mouth was open, my jaw dropped just at the thought that I was sitting across the President of the United States. But do you know who he wanted to really talk with? It was you. It was you. When you, the dreamers of this country, surfaced, he just lit up. He just lit up and wanted to talk about you because you have inspired him, the president of this country, President Barack Obama, and you have inspired me as well, and all of us who are working hard with you for immigration reform so that our families might live with justice and in peace, and not one more family might be separated because of unjust deportation. One of the great things that you have continuously affirmed for me and other leaders like me is that it's so critical for us to care for our families. It's not just about us, it's about our families. We cannot create a good and solid and just society if we don't think in terms of moving ahead with our families. Every single one of you whom I've had the great privilege of meeting, and all of you together, are so very wise. You know that your families have helped you come thus far. You didn't do it alone. I didn't do it alone. It was Mama y Papa, our abuelitos, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, our brothers and sisters who have gone ahead of us, and so many other people who care about us. And you know that what happens with you sets the tone, sets the space, allows the opportunity for those who will come behind you. Brothers and sisters, extended family and friends, neighbors, nuestro pueblo, our communities. I want you to hear that every time you accomplish a goal, it makes our hearts glad, all of us, and it impacts all of us in such a positive way. So many of you have also inspired me and this country and President Barack Obama, because there came a moment in which you made the critical decision to no longer hide. You made the decision that you were not going to hide in the shadows of our present immigration laws that force undocumented immigrants to live there in those dark shadows. And because you have refused to hide any longer, you have become the light of justice in the dark shadows of injustice. I hope you know that. And I hope you allow that to fill your spirits and encourage you along the way. Now, I know that it's not been easy, that it wasn't easy for those of you who took that step first and those who took it next, and then next, and then next, and then so many of you who are gathered here. But it has made a tremendous difference in the work of immigration reform. The fact that you refuse to hide any longer has changed the political conversation, not only in this state, but throughout this country. Political leaders locally, statewide, and nationally can no longer act as if immigration reform is some abstract issue out there. They cannot pretend that it's just something in paper, on paper, in the books. You have taught this country that immigration reform is about human beings, about persons of flesh and blood created by God, people who hurt and suffer and who have great aspirations, wonderful dreams of contributing to humanity and taking care of this world that God has given us. You, each one of you, have given immigration reform a human face, a lovely, beautiful, handsome face. You are the face of our hope for a better future and a better world. I've been asked numerous times why I continue to work on immigration reform in spite of all the struggles and all the frustrations of this justice work, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I continue. I continue to work on immigration reform because of your courage and because of the courage of your families and you who love this country that is your country as well. This place that has become the home of your families and your home and my home as well. I continue to work on immigration reform because I've come to love you, because you have stirred that love within me. But I'll confess on this morning that I've also decided and determined that I need to keep working on immigration reform because I've learned along the way that God loves you and that God stands with you. And I always want to be on the right side of God, and that is standing right with all of you. So, my brothers and my sisters, I encourage you to work very hard this day, to dream big about how to make a difference that will make life better for you and for others, for your families, our communities. Support each other. Be watching out for each other today. There may be some among you for whom this is the first time they've shown up to anything like this. You may see it on their faces. You may see it as they look around wondering, where do they go next? Help them. Take a moment and stop and help them, and you'll find a blessing in that effort. Help other young people who aren't even able to be here. Help them. Be thinking about them so that they too might join you on the journey towards justice. And most of all, I hope that on this day you will think about how you're going to continue challenging the educational institutions that have been established precisely to educate you and to prepare you to make a significant difference in the world. Don't let anyone tell you that these educational institutions were not established for you. They were established for you and all the other young people in this state and in this country. And challenge these educational institutions to do their best work. Do their very best work for you. Because as they do their very best work for you, they will be doing their very best work for all of us. Finally, I want to say to you that the bishops and the religious leaders of the communities of faith in this state and across this nation, the leaders of our churches and our synagogues and our mosques, stand with you. We will continue to be your best and most faithful supporters. So stay grounded. Move forward with our families. You can count on our support. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop Carcaños, for that wonderful opening. Our keynote speaker for today is an inspirational woman who knows personally that if immigrants are to succeed, more people will have to take risks, spend more time fighting, and bear the ugly sting of rejection many more times. Despite Arizona's anti-immigration laws, she was able to graduate from Arizona State University and used her advocacy to stop her own mother's deportation. Please give a warm welcome to Erika Andiola.
I'm too tall. All right. All right. Oh my God, it's a huge crowd. Now I'm getting a little nervous. All right. Well, thank you. Again, my name is Erika Andiola, and I want to thank all of you for inviting me here today. And before you get to know me a little bit more, I want to get to know you. And so I want to ask all of you out there who are undocumented youth, dreamers, DACA, whatever you call yourselves nowadays, to stand up. Where are you all? Thank you. Now, okay, you may sit down. Now I wanna see where the parents are, los padres, the parents, the undocumented parents that I call. ¿Dónde están los padres que son indocumentados? A ver, párense. Can you stand up? Woo! Gracias por venir. Se pueden sentar, you can sit down. Our allies, where are our allies? Our amazing allies who are here to support the work of undocumented youth. Yeah, thank you so much. And then the last group I want to call are our teachers, educators. ¿Dónde están? Where are the educators at? Awesome. Thank you so much. You can sit. Wow. Well, as you can see, we have a crowd of diverse but very interconnected people, right? And it's just beautiful to see it. And like I said, I want to thank UCLA Ideas for inviting me to speak with you all wonderful people. And I am not just, calling you all wonderful to flatter you, but I really think that you're all wonderful. And the reason for that is because you, as an undocumented youth, it took a lot for you to come out here, and for our parents to be able to be here, and for our educators to be able to support you to be here. Just being here reminds me of back in the day. I'm not that old, but 5 years ago I actually graduated from Arizona State University. And before I graduated, I was an undocumented student who was really, really afraid of ever saying that I was undocumented. I mean, I always remember being at ASU in like this really big freshman classes, and some of you know what I'm talking about, like this like really big psychology 101 and communications 101 and whatnot. And I looked around, and I seemed to be like the only like brown person, like I swear, because I would see like another brown kid, and I was like, oh my God, there's another paisa, And not only that, I mean, I really thought that I was the only undocumented student in the entire school, other than one of my friends who I also knew was undocumented. But at a certain point, I really wanted to blend in. I said, if people find out that I'm undocumented, it can mean that I can lose scholarships that I work very hard for. It might mean that they can go after my parents. It can mean a lot of things. They can go after me. And so I kept really quiet. Until one day in around 2007, while you guys were getting the great news that you all got in-state tuition here in California, in AB 540, right? In Arizona, we were getting really bad news, and that's that they were taking away our in-state tuition. It was tough. It was tough because at that point, I had to work very, very hard to be able to gain those 6 scholarships that I had, right? I realized that in this entire time that I was trying to keep quiet, crazy, nasty things were happening in the politics in my state that allowed for undocumented youth to be targeted, to be taken away our scholarships. And not only that, we were forced to pay about 4 times more than we were already paying. And I don't know about you, but I was a really broke student. I had no money. And so for me, it was just a decision of either staying in school or, just dropping out of school and going to work. But gratefully, I was able to find a scholarship that they were offering to undocumented youth. And I applied, and it was a complete blessing for me. And I'm not just saying because of the money, because I know we all love the money and want to continue school. But because he brought another blessing to me, and that was that I met one of the most amazing and wonderful people that I've ever worked with. And the reason why I met him was because the scholarship required for you to do a whole bunch of community service hours. I know some of you all volunteers here know what I'm talking about in the back. And we said, you know what, we need to get together to be able to do this. But we didn't know that all of the people that applied to scholarship were all undocumented. And so one day we found ourselves in this really big room, just like you are right now. And we looked around, and I realized, holy cow, all these people right here are undocumented youth. I'm not the only undocumented person in Arizona State University. That was the very first time in my life that I said, holy guacamole, I really am in a, I had one of the students that was sitting right next to me was in my salsa class, and I thought he was a Chicano that, was probably born here. And I just turned around and I was like, oh, you have no papers? Oh my God. It was a taboo. But within that group of amazing students, we just, we started to get to know each other. And I remember our very first meeting, we said, we need to meet. We need to talk about ourselves. We need to talk about how, your experiences. And we had our very first meeting that happened in a basement because we were so afraid. We decided to meet at a basement. This is in 2008. And so we went into the basement, and the very first thing on our agenda was whether we were going to put a sign outside of the door or not. That was our very first item. We said if we put a sign outside of the door that says, it was called the Dream Scholarship or something like that. I can't remember very well. If we put a sign like that, it's going to mean that people are going to know that undocumented people are meeting here. And if we don't, then people are not going to find us. So what do we do, right? That was our very first item on the agenda. And now that I look back, I realize how scared we were to actually even meet. But it was one of the biggest blessings because we were able to talk to each other. And I remember the very first conversations was like, oh my God, how do you get a driver's license? We can't. Okay. So what do we do? Hey, New Mexico. All right. How do you go to the club? How do you get in? How do you drive? How do you get a job? All of these conversations that we were not able to really have with our parents, right? That we were able to have with another. And this really came down to really talking about how does it really feel to be an undocumented person, to be an undocumented student. We were like, you know what, it just sucks, right? It sucks to one day feeling like you're in the top of the world, that you're going to accomplish everything that you want. You start applying to every scholarship you see, you start applying to every school, you start applying to every job, and you just feel like on top of the world. The next day, everything falls apart. You didn't get the job that you wanted because you didn't have a social. You didn't get, the scholarship that you wanted because undocumented youth don't qualify for it. But then the next day you're like, oh, I don't care, I'm gonna conquer this, I'm gonna apply to more. I mean, seriously, at that meeting I remember we're like, maybe we're bipolar, you guys. Maybe we are bipolar. But we're not. We were struggling. And so within that group of students, we decided to take a stance. We said, you know what, it's not okay for us to just be crying about this, so the fact that we lost our scholarships. And not only that, but people like myself, I told them, in that meeting, my mom was actually just raided by Sheriff Joe Arpaio. And just a couple of weeks before this had happened, my mom was working in Sheriff Arpaio. I don't know if you guys know who that guy is, but he's a really, really horrible dude from Arizona who really, goes after us. And so she had just gotten raided, and I had all these, things inside of me of saying why didn't I do anything before? Why was I just trying to blend in? And so I started, we started organizing. I remember we took out a whole bunch of tables outside. We were like, we need to tell people about this, but we cannot tell them we're undocumented yet. So we were, oh, hey, would you like to call for the DREAM Act? Here's a pamphlet. I have a friend who's undocumented. He can go to school. And so that was the way that we started organizing for this. Until we started realizing that people were still not listening. People were still sort of who are these kids? What's going on? I don't know what the DREAM Act is. Back in the day, dreamers was not a term. It was dreamers, that's cheesy, I don't know what you're talking about. Until we decided, you know what, there's something that we gotta do different. And one day we got crazy and we said, you know, we gotta come out of the shadows. This is it. We need to come out of the shadows. We need to speak up and we need to tell everybody who we really are. That this right here is an undocumented person. That we're not, you know, we're not crossing the border with a backpack full of drugs. We crossed the border with a backpack, but it was not full of drugs. It was full of our recuerdos from back, you know, from our country of origin. And so we started coming out of the shadows, and I remember very clearly the very first thing that we decided to do, one of the very first things in 2010, we really needed to push for the DREAM Act. So we decided, you know what, if we want to push and we want to be out there, and one of the senators, Senator Reid, I remember, didn't want to put the DREAM Act on the floor, then why don't we make them? Why don't we use the power of undocumented youth, which at the time we didn't think we had any? Why don't we use it to push this senator to put the DREAM Act up for a vote? And so we went to his office. We sit on the floor in D.C. We put our caps and gowns. We sit there and we say, "Can you pass the DREAM Act?" There, he was probably like, "Oh, this naive kids." You're like, "No, we cannot put the DREAM Act up on the floor." And we sat there and we said, "You know what? If you really think that dreamers are cute, the dreamers should be allowed to one day, you know, have a path to citizenship, that you need to pass the DREAM Act." And we sat there until we got arrested. That was the very first time in our lives that, at least from the undocumented youth in Arizona, that we were able to confront that being undocumented was something powerful, that it wasn't nothing to be ashamed of. And I felt so empowered. I felt like there was so much I could do. I came back to Arizona. We started organizing even more. We did actions almost every day, rallies, protests, you name it. Until the DREAM Act failed. We failed by 5 votes. And it felt pretty defeating. It felt like we didn't do hard enough. We didn't work hard enough. So at a certain point, we were pretty defeated. But a couple of days later, we're like, okay, what do we do now? How do we get back and we start organizing again? How do we start empowering more and more dreamers to come out of the shadows and say that they're also undocumented and unafraid? And we started this amazing national movement that started organizing, that started saying, you know what, I don't care, started doing sittings, like they you know, we were called crazy. We're like, oh, there comes these crazy kids. But guess what? In 2011, we were the ones that pushed the envelope. In 2011, we said, you know what, we didn't get the DREAM Act, but we're gonna be able to push the president to stop deportations. And we were called crazy, we were called divisive, we were called all kinds of things because people said, no, we need immigration reform. We said, yes, we know we need it, duh, right? We need immigration reform. But guess what? We cannot wait. And we're gonna get the president to give us deferred action. We didn't call it deferred action, we called it administrative relief. And at a certain point, we pushed so hard, we did so many things. We went to sitting like Obama's campaign offices. They were freaked out. There were some youth that were organizing in DC. And in 2012, President Obama stood in front of that garden, beautiful of his, and he said, I'm here to announce that undocumented youth deserve a chance. I'm here to announce that today, we're gonna have deferred action for childhood arrivals for undocumented youth. And I feel amazing. I said, you know what? We are undefeatable. Anything can happen. We can do anything in the world. I felt like I was, you know, I was just so, like, we were so powerful until I got my job. And I said, you know what? Maybe this is the time for me to retire. I need to get a job. I need to settle down. I need to stop being crazy and traveling all over and trying to organize. I need to get a job, and I did. I got DACA. I went to get a job for the first time. I'm a dreamer, worked in Congress. So I was there working in Congress for a congresswoman. And that same day that I got my job, I came home to tell my mom that I was really excited. I wanted to go have dinner with her that night. And I came back, and guess what? ICE that same night knocked on my door, and they took my mom. They knocked on the door, and they asked for my mother, and my brother was also outside. So they said, you know what? We came to get your mom, and your brother's outside, so might as well take him too. At that moment, I realized how selfish I was of me to think that I was going to quit this movement to go and realize, you know, that and fulfill the dream that I had to get a job, to get a career. knowing that my mother was still very vulnerable, knowing that my mother and my brothers and sisters who still don't have deferred action were gonna be as vulnerable as I was when I didn't have deferred action. And I felt, you know, I felt really defeated again. I said, you know what? Why is this happening to me? I cried like my eyes, you know, I cried my eyes out really. But then I realized, you know what? We do have power. We have the power. I felt like maybe they took her because they were coming after me for all the activism that I did. But I said, yeah, I don't care. I don't care where they're coming to get my mom. All I know is that I have a huge community that has been organized in the past, and I tell everybody to call. I told everybody to make a call, to sign a petition. I called everybody who I knew in the White House that were really upset at us for pushing them, but I said, I don't care. You need to stop my mom's deportation. In a matter of 12 hours, the bus was from ICE was going from Arizona to Mexico already. They had my mom inside. And I said, this is it. We were already getting all the, you know, I was trying to get blankets and as much as possible for my friend to take it to Mexico so that my mom could get there and, you know, don't, you know, not be cold, to have some money. Until I get a call from the Consulado de Mexico and they said, Erica, your mom is right here with us. The bus turned around, she's coming home. And I'm telling you this story because us as undocumented youth, many times, it's hard. It's hard because we want to be able to be normal, like I was in college, you know? We want to be able to just go back home and be able to fulfill our careers, which is great. We need to do that, and that's what we're getting in education. But I just want to let you and leave you with one thing, and that is that we are not normal. We are not normal. Because we're very special. We're special people that were able to get different experiences that others didn't. We're people that were able to, you know what, you didn't get a social, you figured out how to get a job. You figured out how to open up your own business. You figured out how to get in the club. We are special people, and I hope you guys realize that today, this is our day to be able to fight for our parents. This is our day to be able to get up tomorrow and say, what can I do to even use my own degree, to even use my own career that I'm going to take to be able to grow this movement, to be able to fulfill the dream of my parents. And the dream of my parents is for me to grow, but I also cannot forget about their own dream of why they brought me into this country. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for inviting me.
Can we give Erica another round of applause, please? That was very powerful. So next we're going to introduce our student speaker. It is with great honor to introduce her because I kind of see her as an example. She was amongst the first students in California to take advantage of AB 540, and she is also one of the first undocumented students to pursue her medical degree at UC Davis. Please, everyone, help me welcome Carol Zvalzi.
Good morning, everyone. This is amazing. I want you guys to look around, guys and girls, look around and see how many students are in here. When I started at UCLA, and I'm going to age myself because I was in high school in 2003, AB 540 had just passed, but very, very few people, even within UCLA, knew what AB 540 was. Sorry, I'm a little taller than everybody else, so I'm going to mix this up. And I remember coming into a welcome day that AAP had put together, and there was a man who's here too, Jeff Cooper, who's in the back somewhere. He put together this amazing welcome day to invite all the students that had gotten into UCLA, and I remember sitting there, and it was packed, just like it is right now. And I was sitting in the middle with my parents, and I kept thinking, wow, I am the only undocumented student in the entire UCLA campus. And it was so scary and so shocking, and I was just so amazed that I had actually been able to be accepted into UCLA. And then there was a keynote who came up, I remember Dr. Redmail, and he said, UCLA wants you, aunque no tengan papeles, we know you're here. And I thought, wow, like this is where I need to be. I need to be at UCLA. I need to connect with these people. I need to figure out how I'm going to make my dream come true. And my dream was always to be a doctor. So I'm actually going to step back a little bit and have a little activity, and I want you to take like 10 seconds and think about what your dream is. Think about what you want to be when you grow up, or what you are now and what you want to accomplish. And the sky's the limit. Don't limit yourself for what that dream is. So just I'm going to, stop talking for 5 seconds. Think about that, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so can somebody shout out what some of those dreams are? I can't hear it. Psychologist, engineer. MD. MD, that's right. Anyone else?
Composer.
Editor?
Composer.
Composer, that's right. And so UCLA, I keep saying UCLA because it's my alma mater, but know that youth and undocumented students can be anything. They can be doctors, they can be Grammy winners, they can be musicians, they can be educators, judges, lawyers, and I have friends in all these areas, and I can tell you that they're there, and you're going to be there too. And whenever you feel like it's impossible, just remember that it's happened. There are people that have done it. And it's amazing to be standing up here with all of you, because I was here for the very first conference, the very first Immigrant Youth Empowerment Conference 7 years ago, and we had 200 students. And for the time, 200 students was amazing. There's 1,400 of you today. Now, I think that deserves a round of applause. So I'm going to start off with one quote from Cesar Chavez, and it's, "We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include aspirations and needs of others for their sake and for our own." And I quote this because the theme for today is staying grounded and moving forward with our families. And I can guarantee you that if it wasn't for my family and the families that I have created along the way, I would not be where I am today. My parents, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brother, my grandmother, who's she's here somewhere, I hope, and my aunt, and everyone in my close blood family, they have inspired me. They have taught me how to dream, how to love, how to appreciate people. But it's all the other families as well that have taught me that without them, I cannot continue to grow, and I'm limited to what society believes is what I can achieve. But I've been fortunate enough that at every step of the way, I've found what I call my little angels, and there's a couple of them here today, who have stepped in and said, "Your dream is to be a doctor, I will help you." No questions asked. They have somehow come into my life, and in those darkest moments, like Erika had mentioned, where you think, I've tried everything, I've exhausted all my resources, I've worked, and I've been up here, and now I'm on the floor because I don't know what to do. And then just like that, someone appears, and they hear your story, and they think, I believe in you. Just when you believed in yourself a lot, and then all of a sudden you think, maybe the situation I'm in is just too much. Maybe after everything that I've worked for, maybe I can't do it. And yet there's those people in your lives that come in and they become your family, and they support you and they encourage you. I'm just finished my first year of medical school at UC Davis, and it has been the most amazing time and the most difficult and hardest time of my life. And I say that because I've experienced a lot of difficult times when I was here at UCLA, being one of the first undocumented students back in 2003, when nobody knew what undocumented students were. And there was a group of 5 of us. I remember sitting in a room, almost like a basement too, where you think you're by yourself, and then you look around and you're like, oh, you're undocumented and you're in my math class. Oh, you're undocumented and you're in my chemistry class. Now I have a community. Now I have family. Now I've created something, or we've created something that empowers us to continue on. And when I applied to medical school, I didn't have that anymore. When I was at UCLA, I had ideas, and I had my family here, and they supported me, and we encouraged each other, and we dreamed big, and we wanted to be educators and lawyers and doctors and everything, you name it, we wanted to be it. And we were so limited because we didn't know when this situation was ever going to change. I've been talking about the DREAM Act since I was in high school, since 2002. It's 2014 now, so do the math. It's been a couple of decades, or a decade, and then some numbers. And so it was a really hard situation to think about going to medical school and wanting to achieve that dream. I was set, I was ready, I had done everything I could possibly do. I did research, I was that student that was ready to take on the world and be the kind of community physician that our communities need. We have a shortage of doctors of about 120,000, and yet there are students who are ready to go. They're ready to take on that challenge of becoming a doctor. And let me tell you, it's not easy. Like, you think being in college is easy. Being in medical school is like, it's crazy. I can't even begin to explain how much information you get thrown at you. So to be able to be in those spaces and actually be accepted into medical school was a huge deal. But in order for me to do that, I had to create another family. And it took me 4 years. It took me 4 years to figure out who those other undocumented students were in medical school. It was like chasing unicorns. And I would go to conferences and I would talk to people, and it was like starting all over again. Even though I had been in ideas and I had organized and I had created that community here at UCLA, stepping into that other world of medicine was a completely new world, and I had to start from the bottom up once again. And I would go to conferences and I would talk to people that they referred me to, saying like, he's really good, he works, you know, this person is great with undocumented students or minority students. And then I go and I talk to them and I tell them my story, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, good luck. Or they'll say, go talk to the private schools. And I go, okay, well, what private school should I go talk to? And they say, I don't know. And then that would be the end of the communication. So I spent 4 years looking for just one student, just an example of one student who had done it. And then somehow, right when I felt like maybe this isn't for me, maybe I should think about going into education or think about being a community organizer for a longer period of time, I met a doctor at the labor center where Kent Wong is at. And she was a community organizer doctor in internal medicine, and she connected me to all these other doctors. And somehow, through the net, I found my unicorn, and I found one undocumented student here in California who was just about to complete her medical degree. And I thought, it's possible. I have that example. I can do it too. Now it's just a matter of time. And sure enough, it was around the same time where Deferred Action occurred. And I was able to apply to medical school. And I got in and I started last summer. And again, I thought, this is great. I'm at the top of the world. Nothing can stop me. I'm achieving my dream, that dream that you guys have just thought about. I was there. I thought, this is it. Nothing can stop me. And then I went to orientation and I started getting the bill for medical school, and they said, okay, you have 5 days to pay $10,000 for your first quarter. So medical school is like $40,000 just tuition, so it's really, really expensive. And I thought, wow, where am I going to get $10,000? That's not possible. Like, I'm still waiting for scholarships and things to come up. And then I started asking questions again, because that's what they taught us here at UCLA. That's what Ideas taught us. You always show up. You show up for yourself every day, even if you're scared, even if you're tired, even if you're hungry, even if you've said the same story over and over. You show up for yourself and you ask questions and you ask for the right to be treated just like every other student. And I did just that, and I talked to every single one of my deans, and they didn't know what to do. And so I thought, okay, well, they can't find solutions for me, then I must find solutions for myself. And that's when I started doing a fundraiser. I became one of the first undocumented medical students to fundraise her way through her first year of medical school. And it was thanks to my community, all of you sitting here, and people like yourselves who pitched in $5, $10, $20 here and there. I was able to get through my first year of medical school. So when I say I'm going to be a community doctor, it's because you have put me through medical school. And I thank you for that. So I don't know how much more time I have, but I'll keep it shorter. So I tell you this, show up for yourselves. There's a couple of things that I want you to get out of this conference. You're going to learn so much. Everyone here is so excited to be here, to teach you, to guide you, to show you how to be an advocate for yourself, for your community, for your families. Remember that. And whenever you feel like, well, I'll tell you this, I was told it wasn't possible, and I'm still told it's not possible, even though I'm in medical school already. People look at me, I have these conversations, and they say, I don't understand how you're doing it, maybe you should consider quitting. And the fact is that every time you hear that, I want you to turn around and say, you may believe that, but I know 10 other people who believe in me. because that's the kind of support that you need. You need to come up, you need to show up for yourself, you need to take pride and be excited about your dream and love that dream and cherish it and protect it above anything else, because there will be so many people who will try to break it down, and I'm telling you that it's possible. So stay grounded, definitely stay grounded, you know, doing activities like these, learning, and move forward. And as you move forward, always remember your families. Carry your families with you, because at every step of the way you will need them. And if your immediate family isn't around, you create your family, because everywhere you go, there's people who will love you and will love your dream just as much as you do. And I know that that's the case for me, and everywhere I go, I try to impart that. And if you have a mentor, make sure you become a mentor to somebody else, because it's only through that trickle effect that we'll be able to get to the point where we've all accomplished our dreams, and we're no longer just dreamers. We have succeeded in achieving those dreams that we set out to do. So one of my favorite poems from Langston Hughes asks, what happens to a dream deferred? And what my answer to that is, it doesn't dry up. It doesn't dry up like a raisin in the sun. It doesn't fester like a sore. It doesn't run. It doesn't. It develops, it grows, and it thrives. And I know mine did, and I know yours will too.
Good morning, everyone. Wow, what about those speakers? Weren't they great? Give them a round of applause, come on. Okay, so how's everyone doing? Come on, it's Saturday morning. That was weak though, come on. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for being here on a Saturday morning. I know that some of us could be sleeping in right now or recovering from that party last night. I know some of you may be recovering as of now, but you know, you chose to be here with us and we really appreciate it. It is because of people like you that we keep doing the work that we do. And just know that you guys will not leave disappointed, and you guys are making a change today just by being here. And we are very, very proud of that. And I'm very happy to be helping everyone out this year. And I also am aware that we have presenters in the audience, and you guys might not be aware of that. And they want to see that everyone is excited and pumped for today. So, are you guys excited for today? Yeah! I didn't hear that. Are you guys excited? Yeah! Awesome. So, just a heads up, there might be crying today, there might be anger, there might be happiness, there might be everything today. And that's what's beautiful about this conference. And I can assure you guys that you guys will have a really great time. And yeah, so thank you so much for being here. We are going to move on to the workshops now. The workshops are numbered in your programs. So workshops numbered 1 until 5 are going to be on your right side. Workshops are on your left side, sorry. On your left side, we're gonna have escorts. So they're gonna take you and they're gonna be on your left side. Workshops 6 until 10 are gonna be all the way in the back. And workshops 11 until 14 are going to be on your right side. And you guys are going to have someone taking you. Y para los padres que quieren ir a los talleres en bilingüe, vamos a tener talleres en cada sesión que son para padres. Pueden ver en su programa cuáles van a ser y también los van a guiar a su salón. So thank you so much everyone for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing time, and thank you once again.